Again, if you hadn't met me yet, I am Scott Monfort. I'm the Extension Peanut Agronomist for the University of Georgia. And we are going to kind of go through some of the things that would just kind of get you to thinking about this upcoming year. And hopefully it'll be something that you can take home and start thinking about, and hopefully make a profitable year this upcoming year. If we look at 2015, again, it was a big year for us. We had, I think, harvesting 777,000 acres. And for the most part, if you look at the average, state average, 4,470 pounds is pretty good. Probably the second highest that we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years. We had a lot of bad problems throughout the state. A lot of that was dealing with the weather that we had late in September with the rain. And I think there's still a few acres that never got harvested. So to have 4,470 pounds is pretty phenomenal. But this also brings about that other side, right? We have piled these warehouses full of peanuts to carry over to this year, and we're going to have to find out just how much we can put in the ground in 2016 and be able to store them. But we're taking a pretty large guess right now where we're going to be. We think we're going to drop down some in peanut acres, somewhere around 600, 700,000. That's a big range, but we're probably going to be somewhere in the middle of that, more closer to 700, if we plant based on what the growers' intentions would be. The contracts are going to remain low this year, probably around 375 if you are able to get a lot of contracts. So what we're saying, if you really want to grow peanuts above and beyond what you did last year, or you're new into it, you really need to be talking with your peanut buying points that you want to sell with and see what they're able to do for you, because storage is the big topic now among everybody, is where we're going to put all these peanuts this year if we have another bumper crop. So again, try to get with your peanut buying points early and let's see where we're going. Now, as far as seed supply, we do look good. We're going to talk about that a little bit in the next session, the seed seminar. But so far, our seed supply should be good, mostly 06G, which is the dominating variety for what we have. But I tell you, as we get into this and start talking about what year we can potentially have, we may need to start leaning on some of these other varieties with better resistance to some of the diseases. Again, just to give you an indication of our storage, we are lucky in the southeast to have the most peanut storage in the U.S. However, again, with a big crop, where we're going to put them, I know a few warehouses have been put in throughout Georgia, as well as into the Carolinas. So we'll just have to see how we look as we get into the season. We're talking about this particular thing, remaining economical, at a lot of the grower meetings, and you've probably seen this symbol if you've been in a few so far. We say we really can't do a lot with crop value and Mother Nature when it comes to net return or yield, but all the stuff in red we have our hands in. We can go in and determine there where we can save a little money, where we can make money by just those decisions. And there are a few things that, as we go into 2016, knowing that we're going to grow quite a bit amount of peanuts like we did last year, rotation is the one that I think is going to hinder us a little bit, if not a lot. Some people have already seen that. Fertility and all the rest you're going to hear about today. But again, we need to be ahead of the game on some of these and try to make the best decision that we can to help try to maintain what we have. And just to give you an idea, we're talking a lot about what inputs do I need and can I afford. We talk about in low price years, try to reduce your inputs. That's not always the case, especially when we're reducing these rotations quite a bit, and we're going to see a lot more disease potential. Reducing all of your inputs is probably not the thing we need to be doing. So just based on what situation you're in, we're going to have to try to make the decisions the best we can. Good rotation versus this peanut after peanut. Some parts of the state are staying in their 3 to 4 year rotation. Other parts don't have a rotation at all. Just be prepared and budget for the worst case scenario. That'd be the best information I could provide to you right now. If you're in those situations, go ahead and put that money in there, because we already know we're probably going to be reduced in yields. or the potential is, and we know we're going to have higher disease. And try to increase your overall crop management practices. You know, if you don't deep turn, got a lot of problems, you might want to think about turning that land. Again, Bob will talk about the fungicides, but this one is probably more often than not in any situation is just try to be timely. That's the one thing that this upcoming year could probably save us a lot of money and make us a lot of money. So if we can't be timely, we're definitely shooting ourselves in the foot. And rotation, again, we show these every year, and I borrowed these from my counterpart, Scott Tubbs. Again, if you look at the rotation studies he's shown, you know, the 3 and 4 year rotations where we need to be, the highest year yields, no matter which year we look at it. And if you do a 2-year rotation, it does stay up there quite a bit, but it has dropped off a couple of 100 pounds in both years. If you go to continuous peanut, again, about half the yield. And some people say they can do continuous peanut and make good yields. Well, we had a lot last year that tried this and did not. We had a variety trial in one of these areas that had multiple soybeans followed by 2 years of peanuts. And you can see that some of these varieties with the resistance not doing so well, those are stems, dead plants. Some of the other varieties are hanging in there. 06, 12Y look okay. 13 lost a lot of leaves, so did the 511. And it showed up in the yields. 06G in this situation, about 2,800 pounds. 12Y that has better white mold resistance is about 5,500 pounds. But this is just a note. We're going to get tagged with this somewhere down the line if you're doing monoculture peanuts. One way or another, your yields are going to drop off. It's just, the question is when. I'll kind of speed through this because we are going to run kind of short on time here. But planting date, just to give you an idea, again, when we put these things in the ground, we need them to come out of the ground running. We don't need them to sit in cool soil temperatures. You know, if we're cool and wet, you know, you need to pay attention to tomato spider wilt virus, you know, and picking that right variety if you can. But for the most part, if we're talking about planting, you can plant early if you got very good resistance for tomato spider wilt virus. And if the temperatures are right, we would like that to be 68 degrees in the top 3 to 4 inches for at least 3 to 4 days. And we don't really need it to drop off that week after you plant either, because again, it's going to slow that plant down from coming out of the ground. We saw that this past year. We planted April 1st because temperatures in the soil were over 70 degrees. We planted a couple of thousand acres throughout the state, April 1, and then by April 15th, we were back down below 65 degrees, and it slowed them down. So just need to pay attention to the temperatures outside, try to do the best we can with that. This was one of those instances too where we do get backed up because of the weather in an irrigated field where a grower went in and had basically prepared that ground, fluffed it up, had a good seed bed but no moisture. It was already about 75 to 80 degree soil temps. He planted the seed with no moisture, put his herbicide out, and then watered it up. And it shocked them. We went out and looked at the places in between, and the seed are there. They're right under the soil surface. They're coming up, they're just slow. We had them come up 3 weeks from the first ones. You know, so we had some 1 week after, 2 week after, 3 week after that come up. So just watch how, you know, and where we put these seed and what kind of soil conditions we're dealing with, because it can cause us to have some stand issues, and again, that just puts us further behind. With that, I do want to thank you guys through the Georgia Peanut Commission, National Peanut Board. Y'all support us. It allows us to do what we need to, as well as the Georgia Seed Commission, our Development Commission, for the new seed for us to look at as well. And with that, I'll take any questions. I think I got a minute or two if anybody has a question.